Thank you, Liz. And as Liz said, I'm Deborah Callahan, and I'm from Rockford, Illinois. And we're so happy to have you join us tonight for our Knowledge is Power Hour. This is a place to help people with their overall health, share insights as we grow together, use our gifts and talents and our talents to
A bad connection.
I think she might have a bad connection.
She's frozen.
She's
impact many lives, and we encourage all of a little bit about me. I've been helping people restore and optimize their health for about 30 years. My degrees are in nutrition and dietetics. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I know you kind
Exercise. Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm getting a bad connection here.
Yeah.
My degrees are in nutrition and dietetics, exercise physiology, and cardiac rehabilitation. Just tell me if you can't hear me. I've had the privilege of working with some of the top medical minds in the world who believe, as I believe, that the body has the ability to heal itself when given the proper nutrients and tools. My passion is definitely servant-driven. I love helping people, and this completely feeds my soul. So now I'd like to introduce you to my friend and health and business partner, Adrienne Gerard. Take it away.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, for everybody knows me, but we're recording, right, Liz?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So I'm Adrienne, and I'm calling in from Milford, Connecticut, a little farther away from all of you. It's still really hot here, though. It's 90-something degrees right now. I'm an RN. Mostly my focus is on holistic nutrition. I have a master's in that. I've been a health coach for over 35 years. And so what my passion is to help people rediscover their optimal health with as natural means as possible. And that's who I am. And now I'd like to turn it over to my friend and business partner, Liz Geeslin.
Hi, everybody. As you know, my name's Liz, and as a professional horse trainer of 35 years, it then morphed into a personal chef, and about 20 years ago, actually reclaimed my health and started taking better care of myself. And it's been a joy and a privilege for me to be aligned with Deb and Adrienne, and now doing our Knowledge is Power and learning so much more. I keep growing, and I know that all of you that have been here, this is like my night school. It's just so rewarding and exciting for me. And so it is now my very big privilege to introduce all of you to Melissa Milford. I also can call her Mel. I met Melissa on LinkedIn. I reached out. I was looking for people with holistic focus and minds, and her profile caught my attention, and we started having a conversation, and I told her that I would love if she could speak with us. She's got a very interesting background. She's brilliant and adorable, and I'm pleased to have her speak. So Mel, take it away.
Thank you so much, Liz, and I really appreciate you all being here on your Monday night and dedicating time in honouring your health journey and being here open and willing to learn and evolve along your journey. So it is such a huge privilege to be able to come and speak to you tonight. And I hope that what I can share can really add some value and help to serve you along your health and wellness journey. So a little bit about me. I started off in the exercise field, studying exercise science. And then basically since then, it has just been layering, more and more on top of health and wellness. As I have evolved in my own journey, I then went on to study psychology and then sports kinesiology, because I could just see how important it is to have a holistic approach and making sure that all of your healthy lifestyle habits really align. And then I became a mum. And so that then journey got me, of course, even more aware, because as a mom or as a parent, you want to be trying to make the best choices for your kids, the most informed choices. And so I started going out and I was wanting to get products that were really honoring of, my child. I now have two, but back when it all first began, I wanted to, and I was looking at labels and I was trying to buy good quality products, and I thought that I was purchasing products that were honoring of my health and wellness values, and that which I wanted to have as a family here at home. And then I was very lucky enough to actually hear one of the top organic and chemical toxicity leaders here in Australia. And the information that I heard from her just rocked my world. And I was just like, what? You know, there's all of these chemicals, there's all this lack of transparency in products. And I realized that some of the products that I was buying that said the word organic on them were full of chemicals that I was using on my baby. And that was a really shocking realization that I had to come with, because I wanted to make good choices. And I was looking at the information which was available on the packaging, and I thought I was making good choices, but I was not. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of us are being pulled into that trap of wanting to honor and nourish our health, but just not realizing the information that's in front of us, or the lack of information in front of us, supporting us making those informed choices. So then the next layer for me came on, which was really going into chemical toxicity and making sure that I then stood up and became a more empowered consumer, and that I learned more about the different, lack of rules and regulations and all of these different factors which people need to be factoring in when they're making choices. Because when we have a look at, all of the different impacts of chemical toxicity in modern day life, it's coming at us from all angles. So we need to be aware so that we can be proactive, okay? And I know the first time that I heard some of this information, it was a bit shocking. So I'm sorry in part if that's the case, but sometimes we need information if we are to go and then be empowered by it. Okay, so it's not about feeling overwhelmed by it all. It's just adding to our knowledge base, which is, I know what you're all here to do, so that way hopefully it can positively impact you moving forward. So that's basically a little bit about my background and how I become really passionate about this particular area and adding that into everything else that I was already doing, because I think that it's a real missing piece of the puzzle that a lot of people don't even realize that they're missing. So we need to really get this information out there and change it. So when it comes to toxicity, you've got some different areas in which it can come. So you've got environmental toxins. So you've got things like when you're driving around and you've got all the car fumes, or you've got the air pollution and different things around us in our environment. Okay, you've got the things that can be on our food that we can consume. So it can be, to do with the growing and the agriculture of it, and any, pesticides and things like herbicides that are put on our foods, which we might be consuming. And then you've got the things which you are using and putting on your skin or around you as your home. That can also be another source of chemical toxicity. So there's obviously lots of different areas. So today I'm going to more so focus on the products side of things, because I think that's where perhaps people aren't as aware. So that's where we're sort of going to be diving into today, because what you put on your skin really matters. And in a sense, it actually is a little bit more important than what you're actually putting in your mouth, because when you put things in your mouth and they go into your digestive system, it's an inbuilt system to try and help prevent anything that you might consume actually going further into your bloodstream. However, when you put things onto your skin, it bypasses going through the digestive tract and goes and is absorbed straight into your bloodstream. And if you have a little bit of a think about where you are rubbing and or spraying, deodorants or perfume or things like that, it's in some of the really sensitive areas of our skin, which are quite close to some of the main, like lymphatic, like when you look at under your arm where you've got all your glands and that right there. And if you're spraying, deodorants that are going into your skin, straight into your lymphatic system, straight into your blood, or you're up here in, with perfume, or here in the really soft, sensitive skin, is that unfortunately it's going into your skin. Between 60 to 100% of the chemicals is going into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. Okay, so that is
60 to what?
Yeah, 26 seconds at all it takes for it to penetrate the skin. The majority of it, like I said, between 60 and 100% is going straight in there, bypassing. It's not going through your digestive tract and off to the liver before it goes in and around everywhere else. It's going straight in and circulating through your body. So that's where we need to be really conscious of what we are putting on our skin and using around our homes. Okay, so in terms of the cosmetics industry, the Australian system actually is modelled off the American system. So there is called the Cosmetics Ingredients Review Board. However, that's the one in America that the Australian model is set up with. But it's self-regulated by the actual industry, which obviously is great because they're working out what chemicals they themselves shouldn't be putting in their products, which is not an ideal model for obvious reasons. And so in the last 40 years, they have only banned 10 chemicals, right, for not being in their products. Okay, same as over here in Australia. When you look at the UK model, okay, which is their REACH organisation, 1,330 chemicals have been deemed to be highly toxic and dangerous to human health that they have banned, which guess what, is still in our products.
Interesting.
That's massive. It's massive.
That's ridiculous.
And so we do not have a system that is supporting us as consumers, which means we need to empower ourselves, because the FDA there in America did some research and they said that up to 1 in 5 products have formaldehyde releasing chemicals which cause cancer in products. 1 in 5, 20% of the things that are on the shelves,
Wow,
have been known ingredients in there to be cancer causing. And so, like I said, it's shocking information and it makes you feel angry and let down. I know that's how I felt. And here in Australia, you know, and it's, you know, similar over there, is that you have the greenwashing, you know, issue. And so what I mean with that is that, you know, it's marketing. The products are made to look pretty so that you buy them. They're green and they have leaves on them, or they have trees as part of their packaging, or they're a beautiful neutral brown colors, and you know, they might have the word or natural, you know, on the label. But here in Australia, and I think this is where it might be a tiny bit different over there, but in Australia, there is no actual requirements really around using the word organic. It can have one like organic thing in it, much, and the rest can be toxic stuff, and they can still have organic plastered over the product label. And that's where I got caught. I was buying products thinking, yep, it's got organic on it, so it must be a better choice. Nah, not necessarily at all. And this is where, unfortunately, the system and the laws around the industry, which is basically Zippo, there is no testing whatsoever on cosmetic products before they go to market. It's basically deemed safe until proven otherwise. You can just make it up, put it in a bottle, put it on the shelf, and nobody says anything. Nobody checks anything, nobody does anything, which is where we have issues, because us as consumers think, well, it's on the shelf, it must be okay for us. But that is absolutely not the case, unfortunately. And some of the other things to be aware of is that even when things are listed on the labels, for example, if there is less than 1% of an item, an ingredient in the bottle, it doesn't need to be listed. So you can be even reading the labels and go, oh, it's got this in it, this in it, this in it, this in it, this in it. Yeah. Well, there could be other stuff in there. It's exactly the same with the word fragrance. This is the real kicker, is because when using umbrella terms like this, so fragrance, there is no individual ingredient that is fragrance. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's encompassing a number of things, and unfortunately, because of their intellectual the intellectual proprietary, what would be the called, like rules, they don't have to disclose it. So there can be thousands of chemicals hidden under the word fragrance or parfum, which is another word. So really one of the first things that, you know, I recommend people do is stay away from things like that, because there is absolutely zero way of you knowing what's in that product. If you see the word fragrance or parfum, chances are it's going to be a lot of chemicals, because they just do not need to disclose it, because it's their intellectual property. You know, it's their secret formulation that makes it up. And so they do not have to tell you. So really for us as, well, women or men, anyone using perfumes and colognes and things like that, or scented washes, moisturizers, you know, other products, to me, that really should be one of the first things that you clean up. And I'll talk a little bit more about, you know, proactive action at the end. But really, that should be one thing, because you just have no idea what's in it. So to me, that is one of the first things, particularly, you know, when you're thinking about where you're spraying it, you know, all up here around your body and on this really sensitive skin. You're just really toxic overloading your body with perfume. So number one thing, start looking at ways that you can change out that to, you know, natural essential oils or perfumes. And it is becoming more aware and more known. So it's a matter of going out, doing your research, questioning companies, really finding out. But that would be a good starting point, because they contain phthalates, which is one of the most potent hormone disrupting chemicals in those perfumes, because it helps it stick to the body. Putting in some of those ingredients, you know, so it makes it longer lasting. So it's like having little bits of like the little microplastics that attach to your skin, so that then the perfumes and that stick on your skin, so that it lasts longer. So you're still smelling fabulous, you know, hours and hours and hours and hours later. But that's unfortunately the sacrifice of that, is being exposed to those chemicals. So, and the other thing that I just want to note in terms of integrity within companies is that in terms of the food, I only just saw this, somebody post this the other day, is that the difference, and I think it was a Campbell's soup tin, among one of them, another one was a Heinz sauce, I think, and they were showing the product labels in the US compared to the product labels in like Australia, or one of them was the UK. And it's like, it's the exact same company making the exact same food product, but because the rules and regulations are different and they're not as strong in the States, heaps more chemicals. Why? Because they can get away with it. When they have to improve the standard of the product to get it into another country, they do.
Interesting.
And this is the people that we're trusting with their stuff being on the shelves, is that when they can get away with it because they know they can make more dollars from it by putting in cheaper, more synthetic ingredients, they will get away with it, because it's the exact same company making the exact same tomato ketchup, as you would call it, and soup. But you know, the version that they can get away with in the States, which is full of crap, they put that on the shelf. But when they have to lift the standards to get it into some of the other countries, they choose to do that because that's what they have to do to get it to market. But to me, that speaks volume of the poor integrity that these companies have with really creating products that are actually honouring of your health and wellness. It's a real shame that they do those types of things. So I'm just going to go really quickly, because most of this kind of, you get the idea of it from the name, but of the 8 classes of the chemicals, just so that you can start to get your head around the impact on health and the array of impact that it can start to have with your health, because it has such a ripple effect of the burden of these chemicals building up in your body. that it can really start to affect you across the board in all your different systems. So we have endocrine disruptors, which mimic the estrogen hormone, which is not good for males or females in, you know, the way that it mucks around with your hormonal balance. We have obesogens, which basically either multiply, get your fat cells to multiply, or they reprogram your cells to become fat cells. The other things, I guess, to note in and around that is when it comes to weight and struggling for people to achieve any sort of weight loss, is because the body, yes, it has natural systems to help with these, with some level of exposure to toxins, okay? But another protective mechanism is when it needs to, it cannot meet that level of toxicity, is that to prevent it from getting to your organs, it does what it can, and that is push it as far away from your organs as you can, which is under the skin in your fat cells. So basically they get stored there to prevent them from getting into other more important parts of your body. And so therefore that when you've got both of those things, you've got the obesogens and the chemicals that you're getting, plus when you're getting all the overload of all the chemicals, it's really having an impact on, you know, your body, giving your body a reason to have fat cells. Nobody wants to give their body a reason to have fat cells. Let's be honest. Nobody. So again, one of those layers, one of those pieces of the puzzle that if people are struggling with their weight loss and they feel like they're doing all the right things, but they just can't get it all together, again, this can really be a missing piece of the puzzle. Okay, so moving on from that, we've got carcinogens, so they're cancer-causing chemicals. We've got neurotoxins, which impact your nervous system and your brain. You've got developmental toxins, which are really important to avoid during pregnancy, obviously, and breastfeeding, because then that's when you're going to have issues with your baby, or potential issues, you know, potential. You've got immunotoxins, which can lead to autoimmune disease or affect your actual immune system response. You've got reproductive toxins, which can affect your reproductive organs and or your endocrine system and can lead to infertility. We know that, you know, infertility rates are on the rise. I mean, a lot of things are on the rise. It's not good. But, you know, all of these sorts of environmental and all of these factors, all these lifestyle factors and choices that we are making are really having a big impact. And we've got teratogens, which can cause defects or in the embryo very early on in that. Okay, so some of the big issues leading on from that with the burden and these chemical toxins is obviously on one of our key organs, which is the liver. Because, I mean, yes, the liver's job, one of its jobs is to clean and filter the blood and to metabolize drugs and to help us with the toxic overload. But the issue becomes in that when we are exposed to so many different sources, and let's just think, let's forget about the environmental toxins that we're breathing in when we're in the car and all that. Let's forget about all the pesticides and the herbicides and all that kind of stuff that we're consuming in our food. Let's forget about stuff in our water if we're having water and, you know, that's not filtered and we're getting all the stuff from that. Thank you, sweetheart. I was going to say one other thing. Anyways, let's forget about all the medications that we're taking and all that kind of stuff. Let's just for a moment think that our exposures are coming from, particularly as a female, and I know that there's males on here, but you can still count in your own life, about how many products as a woman you might use, okay? So you get up in the morning, you might brush your teeth, you might cleanse your face, you might put some sort of a toner or something like that. You might put a moisturizer on. You're then gonna put how many items of makeup, maybe like, depending on how many different things you put on your makeup, your mascara, your eyeliner, a few things there. You might put on your perfume. You know what I mean? Then you might go later in the day, you might wash your hands. You might wash your hair with shampoo and conditioner, or you might put some hairspray in or some hair gel, or you might put some moisturizer on your hands or somewhere over your body. Like, think about how many of those you would use every single day. So even in small amounts, without all of those other potential sources of exposure, we are burdening our bodies so bad with this. And then we're wondering why the health statistics of obesity and autoimmune disease and infertility and diabetes and all of these diseases are all headed in the wrong direction. The one in is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller over the years. And it needs to change, because when we are putting that much in our body, the liver is getting overtaxed with that it can't go on to do all of its other jobs. You know, it produces digestive enzyme and biles. It's got a function in our hormonal system. It's to do with cholesterol and building proteins for the body. There's so many other jobs that our liver should be doing, but instead we're burdening it just with trying to deal with this toxicity overload. And then, like I said, when it becomes more and more on your health, that's when it starts to really affect all of these other areas of our health, and we start seeing the buildup in our fat cells and that, because the body just cannot cope with it. Okay, and we spoke about before the impact that it can have on weight, you know, with them being stored in the fat cells, and how that can be a contributing factor to that. The other really most concerning thing, which I found shocking as a mum, is that the EWG, so the Environmental Working Group, did a study called Body Burden Pollution in Newborns. And they found that babies were being born with 287 man-made chemicals in their umbilical cords.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It doesn't get worse than this. Is that's only the ones that they tested for.
Oh my God.
If they had tested for 1,000, would they have found 1,000? Quite potentially. The best way, unfortunately, for a woman to detox her body is to have a baby. And that's where babies are being born pre-polluted and being set up to have all of these issues in the future, because they're already being exposed to chemical toxicity, you know, while they're growing, while they're developing. It's the same when they're breastfeeding. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm a breastfeeder, but it's just a fact of life. You know, there will be toxic chemicals in your breast milk. It's just the way that, unfortunately, the body works. And, you know, when you look at back in the day, it just, you know, it's beautiful and it was a perfect process and everything like that. But we are not supposed to be exposed to all of these chemicals. It's not supposed to be an issue that we are passing these chemicals on down to future generations. But the way that we have started producing our foods and producing our products and doing things like this, all of these sources that are now bombarding us in modern day life, because we want things cheap, we want things fast, we've made all of these compromises. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, these compromises are coming at a cost to future generations. And that is why I have become so passionate about getting this information out there, because we are not setting up our kids in the next generations in a positive way. So, but I don't want this to be all doom and gloom, because
sounds like a
I know that I'm a little bit weighty of information, but please know I was there. I was there when I first heard this information. Like I said, I was angry. I was angry at myself. I was angry at the system. I was really disappointed. I felt like I had let down, you know, particularly my firstborn. But over all things, I believe in the human body. And I believe that when we start supporting it and making better choices, it can heal. We can do better. It can get better. It wants to be healthy. I truly believe that our bodies want to be healthy. We just need to plug into things like this, commit to our ongoing education, commit to our ongoing evolution in getting to know ourselves better, getting to know our bodies better, so that we can go out and feel more empowered, that we truly are making the best choices to support our body, and our bodies will respond in kind. It does want to be healthy. It does want to thrive if we keep chipping away at it day by day, bit by bit, making a little bit better choices, little bit better choices. I'm sure you all know of an incredible story of somebody who is, you know, near the end, or an incredible story of somebody has recovered from something terrible. That they potentially doctors said, you can't come back from this, you'll never get better, but they did. And so that is, I truly believe, is available to all of us who are wanting to go on that path, who are wanting to step up for our bodies. So I hope that, you know, kind of makes everyone feel better. So we're going to start talking about the proactive things that you can do. First of all, it's just minimizing our exposures. The more you know, the better choices that you can make. And so what I suggest is that you can start looking at the different things around your home. Just pick a room or pick a couple of products, read the labels. There are some good apps which you can do. There's one that the Cancer Council has brought out called Think Dirty, and you can scan the barcodes and it will give it a rating from 1 to great to 10 to really bad. Like everything, it's not a perfect system. It doesn't tend to have as many great products because they expect the dollars from the good companies, unfortunately. So it's great to see the bad products. So it's good, you know, if you're at the supermarket or things like that, then you can scan just to have a look. So it's probably better at identifying crap products than what it is to get good ones. But at least that's still information that you can do. There is another one called the Chemical Maze, which is by an Australian actually called Statham. I forgot his first name, damn it, something Statham. Oh, it has escaped me. Bill Statham. There we go, Bill Statham. And that basically just lists all the chemicals. So if there's an ingredient on a product that you're like, I don't know what that is, then you can go and you can research it and it will come up. It has like a smiley face system. So, you know, green smiley faces are okay. Red, angry faces are like, stay well clear. And it can tell you like the potential, you know, harms that, or things that can come from, you know, having a product with that particular thing in it. So that's a really good resource too, to help you be more informed. So when you're running out of a bottle of something, you know, look and go, okay, well, do I really want to purchase this again? Let's look at this product now and see, is this a good choice, or can I upgrade? Can I upgrade to something that is cleaner, something that is more honoring? So you don't have to go and throw out every single thing in your home because that can be totally overwhelming. So just start with one room, or start with a thing. Start with your, you know, your skincare range, or start with your makeup range, or like I said, start with your perfumes. Start with your perfumes and look for things with perfume in it and make a better switch with that. And then as you go, you just keep going, okay, well, cleaning products. What are the cleaning products that I could upgrade to ones that aren't going to leach toxic chemicals from all the non-stick ones that are using and leaching into your food? How can I upgrade that? How can I upgrade, you know, my plastic containers to something that is not plastic, so that way I'm not getting those, you know, those chemicals in there. Particularly, you know, you should never be heating plastic. So it's just a matter of gradually, bit by bit going into it. And also just point, I don't know if this is a big thing over in the US or not, with the PBA-free plastic. Is that a thing over there? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, all plastic is bad because all they've done is they've gone and created the PBS and the PBF, which are just as bad, if not worse. So really, there is no good plastic. I mean, really, there is no good plastic. So, and again, this is where we get sucked in, because they're going to say, oh, well, we've made one that it's PBA free and it's so much better. Plastic is just not good. It's not good for the environment, and in no way, shape or form is plastic ever going to be good for your body in what you're putting into it or what you're heating in it, particularly if you're heating food in it in a microwave. But upgrade as you can to better options. Okay, that's what this is all about. It's just helping you, empower you to go, right, one step at a time. I'm going to gradually keep decreasing the toxic burden, my chances of exposure, Minimize is always the first step. Believing that as you are doing this, have faith in your body, that when you support it in the right way, it can heal. We are never going to be able to eliminate every single source of exposure. It ain't going to happen in modern day life. You'd have to go out in the whoop whoop, which is fine. It might be a great kind of life at the moment, but you know what I mean? Totally remove yourself from everything in a hut, growing all your own food. Great. But if you do want to be a part of modern day life, you will never be able to remove every exposure. So we need to have and support our bodies in minimizing what we can, and then dealing with what, you know, trusting that the body can deal with the few that are unavoidable. And part of that is by making sure that you have some sort of regular detoxification habits. Now, there are a lot of different ones, and it can look and feel in a lot of different ways. Okay, there is no right or wrong answer. It's all about finding something that is going to suit you. But at the end of the day, whether it be daily, whether it be a couple of times a year, whether it be whatever, I highly recommend that you participate, that you seek out, you search for some form of detoxification that honors you and supports you on your ongoing health and wellness journey, to help assist the body in dealing with the unavoidable toxic overload that you will be exposed to over your lifetime. So I think, Liz, are you happy to step in? I know you guys are wanting to talk more about detoxification.
Oh, this was, yeah.
Now, or we can ask questions, whatever you guys want to do from here.
Right. Well, I would love it if we could have questions, but this just ties in so well with what, well, really most of us here with what our longevity does for our liver and that liver health, and just learning how important that constant detoxification, supporting our liver health, is so key. I mean, before this, 5 months ago, I didn't realize the liver does 500 different functions. I mean, it's just, it's a key, it's big, it's key. So
and that's why it's the foundational product for Modexis, because you have to start there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, this was
fantastic.
yeah, this was unbelievable information, and Melissa, it's amazing because you can tell just how knowledgeable you are in this. That you've just taken that passion, you became a mom, and then have taken that. When you said that about how many toxins in a baby's umbilical cord, and now that's frightening.
It is. It is. It really is frightening, and it really does hit home because, you know, we all want to do the right things. You know,
Right.
It should be such a joyous time and process of, you know, growing your baby inside of you and becoming parents. But then, you know, unfortunately, when you are unaware, is that, you know, modern day life is meaning that we are not really giving our babies the best possible start that they could be having. And so really, particularly with all the increase in the infertility issues, which is not just around, you know, toxins, but all the different classes of the chemicals are all having their impact in different ways.
Right.
But it's one of those things where all the people having infertility issues, one of the best things that if you are actually going down the process of, I want to plan to have a baby, you should be doing a humongous big detox prior to that process in an ideal world. But this is where people are not being educated in that, when they're looking and going, okay, I mean, not all babies are planned, and I understand that. My first one wasn't. But that's just the way that it is. In an ideal world, we should all be clean no matter what in our bodies. You know what I mean? But particularly for those that are having infertility issues, you know, detoxing your body I mean, I was only speaking to somebody there the other day, and that was exactly their case. They had real issues having a baby, and they really committed to detoxing their lives and ended up having a baby fine naturally. Like, it can have such a massive impact on so many different areas of your life, but really detoxing before you conceive is probably one of the greatest, single most beneficial things that you can do for your child, is to get all as many toxins out of your body as you can, because you will transfer through maternal transfer when you're pregnant toxins to your baby. And like I said, in that study, that was only all the ones that they tested for, not all of the potential chemicals that would have been found had they tested for more, which is an even more scary fact. But even being that there's 287, and the fact is that a chemical, so of those 287, like one chemical can fall across the different classes. So it can be a neurotoxin, immunodepressant, and the developmental toxin all in the one. You know what I mean? Like, it can cross different of the 8 classes all in the one chemical. And so that's where, unfortunately, you know, the statistics for kids' health is, you know, like I said, the one in whatever. I was only watching something the other day that was specifically talking about autism, and it was by 2032, they were predicting 1 in 2.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kids are so much more susceptible, but also with the infertility, you have the GMOs, and a lot of the herbicides and insecticides actually move into the plant. They don't stay on the plant where they can be rinsed off. And you think about what they're designed to do, to keep the insects from being able to lay eggs. So therefore, that's affecting women as well. It goes after fertility. So organic, and knowing that it really is organic and not GMO, is critical. As I agree with you 1,000% on all the toxicity. But, you know, there's so many levels to things, and, you know, not being angry or fretful about what's gone on in the past, because you can't change it. All you can do is go forward.
Right, exactly.
You know, and just making the changes you can, and as many as you can.
Right. And you know, yeah, and I'm always amazed too. I mean, what an amazing machine our bodies are. I mean, I look back at how I treated my body in my 20s, and I think, oh my goodness. And to see and look at myself at 66, how healthy I am. And really, I didn't take real charge, except for about the last 15, 20 years, really. But before that, it was run rampant. And so it is amazing that our bodies are just, I mean, they're incredible machines, Yeah.
Has anybody, you mentioned about the umbilical cord. Have you ever found any studies that have ever been done on a person, and how many different chemicals are in their body?
I don't have the details with me. I know that there has been a few ones that have looked at different aspects. I don't know of one that's just gone and had a look at like the array of them, because I honestly think that there would just be too many to be able to fully go and just go, what's every single toxic chemical that you have in your body, because it really would be too many of them. They would have to do way too many tests, you know, which is why
I was just curious, since they did that of the cord. I was just curious if somebody must have thought, well, maybe we should try it on an actual.
That's a pretty recent study, Steve. I bet you'll see. I read that as well, but I have read books of people who've done it on themselves and had similar results, but not an organized study. Although I know we can go look on clinicaltrial.gov.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah, Adrian shared a website with me today. Boy, a person could really get landlocked in there for a while.
really go down a rabbit hole there, but
Yeah.
I saw the same post that you're mentioning with the Heinz ketchup. And here's the other thing that's so upsetting, the diabetes epidemic. Okay, so when they showed the two bottles, the US bottle, high fructose corn syrup, not allowed in the UK.
Right.
What do
And
they
that
use?
is sugar, not natural sugar,
Instead
which
of
is high fructose corn syrup is so much more toxic, and it's in almost everything. If you
Yeah.
read,
you have to, yeah, it's in so much stuff. Yeah.
and it contributes to the diabetes epidemic.
Yeah.
Deb, you're on
And
mute.
it's there in many different names too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just with one name, they
Liz,
rename it.
can you unmute Deb?
Oh, Deb, you're, okay.
Can you do it?
I said, you're,
There. Were you saying
Yeah.
something, Deb?
Can
You
you
were
hear me?
muted.
Oh, I was just saying it's in almost everything. You got to watch out for, high fructose corn syrup in tonic water, in pop, and, it's in so many salad dressings, and
yeah, it's in it. Yeah.
be very
I
cautious.
just threw away a $10 bottle of fancy salad dressing, and I couldn't believe, because I didn't check it when I bought it, and I
Hey,
will not.
it's $10. It can't be in there, right?
That's what I'm figuring, but it was in there. And then the other thing is, even if they're studying some of those chemicals, they've not studied combinations, right? Can you speak to that, Mel?
Yeah, that's definitely right. They don't study because they come out and they go, oh, it's only just in such a small amount. Like it's, it's fine. It's minimal traces in the product. It's fine. But that's exactly the point, is that there's never been any long-term trials when you start combining all of these chemicals together. And they do, unless you're actively detoxing your body and getting rid of them, they are just building up. And then you are getting this mishmash of chemicals in you, which is doing goodness knows what. And it can't be good when you look at the statistics of all of the disease rates going up and up and up and up and up. Our systems are not working. They are not supporting our health. Another study that just come out, and it come out in a few places, so you might have seen this because a few different people shared the information. On average, we are consuming a credit card's worth of plastic every week. In microplastics, from the water that we're drinking and all of these different exposures that we're getting to plastic, a credit card's worth. You get out and you look at your credit card. I don't have one with me now, but you look at that and think about that going into your body every single week and how much burden that is going to put on, apart from all of these other toxic chemicals. That is just microplastics going into your body. A credit card's worth every single week. You put 52 cards together and think about what your body is having to do ongoing. It's scary. It really is scary. And that's why we must be proactive. We must be reading labels and even going further than that, questioning companies, or looking for third party reviews. You know what I mean? Like what the ones in your your country, the organic certifications. I have a feeling I've heard that in the US though, your organic certification still allows GMOs. Is that correct? That's what I've heard.
I don't know. April might get the
State
answer.
by state, right? Because some state labeling. So even within the country,
You
it's
have
not
to be
uniform.
careful.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
It's
Because
very
I know.
similar what you said. If it says organic, if it has one little drop of something organic.
No. Yeah.
Then anything goes, yeah. And it's a shame because, like I said, even when you're trying to do the right thing by reading the labels, you're not always getting the full information. So it's important to know what those third party standards are, so you know whether or not that meets your own values, and you can trust that with what their standards are. Or you've got to look at external platforms or curated platforms, which is something similar that I use here in Australia, because I know that a third party group of people are looking at the products. You're not necessarily just taking the company's word for it with what they've got on the labels, that you're actually having somebody go and do all the research and making sure that, you know what I mean, you're not just taking that one lot of people's word for it, that you've got to dive deep. And I know it's unfair. The burden of research should not be on the consumer, but unfortunately it is. So you either need to take that on board and get proactive about it. Hang on, Libby, and utilize the apps and all that kind of stuff.
So cute. I would just caution what apps you trust, because anything run by the Cancer Society may not have a real desire to cure you of cancer. So I would just put that caution out there and look further into the ingredients. Like most soy is GMO, most corn is GMO. Just look deeper and look at the classification of foods and trust your instincts.
Right.
Ask questions. The truth will come to you if you ask.
Right.
I think that's probably how we all got to mid-access.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, you guys, Mel, this has been so eye-opening, and I think it just puts us on alert and more awareness that, and starting, like you said, not taking the whole house, but maybe saying, I'm going to start here. I mean, I know that both Adrian and I were doing some products that just so happens April is involved with a company called Melaleuca. And so I've made the commitment to just change a few things, because April made a good point. She said, Liz, we're all detoxing and taking such good care of our bodies, there's toxins and other things. And I'm like, you're totally right. So it's making those small choices and changes, like, okay, I'm going to start with this, and then do as much as I can, and also not get so overwhelmed where you think, oh, I'm not going to do anything because it's just too overwhelming. If just like you were saying, Melissa, if you just take a little thing, like really paying close attention to what those things are you're putting on your skin and those sort of things. So, well, this has been wonderful, and I can't believe it's 5 of 9, but I'm excited because we have 2 awesome testimonials tonight. I'm going to read one, and actually, this is from Julie Seward, who was our reflexologist, and she got very curious about the Modexus. She started doing her own research on glutathione, and I'm going to turn this light on so I can read better. And this is what she wrote, because I asked her, she goes, I'm going to write it like a thank you note. So she says, I'm so thankful you introduced me to longevity. When I saw the ingredients, I knew it would be a good product. I just didn't know how good. I've been on the product about a month now, and while I've been experiencing some significant detox symptoms, I am also starting to see some benefits. I'm seeing changes in my skin for the better, and I'm starting to have more energy on a consistent basis. The most important thing I'm noticing at this point is a change in my feet and toes. They had some numbness beginning, and I feel all of that improving. My blood sugars have started to come out of balance before starting longevity. I'm seeing a slight improvement already, and I'm excited to see what will happen the longer I'm on the products. So she's thrilled with how she's feeling, which is exciting. And also now I'm excited because Lisa has a very exciting testimonial from her daughter. So Lisa, would you share? Okay, you need to unmute, yeah.
Hi there. This is my daughter, Natalie. She's 22, and she's had anxiety and various things going on with her. And so it was a Saturday, it was a birthday party for our other daughter, and she just had a lot of anxiety. And I said, here's this bottle, it's called Product X, but it's supposed to be, this was because I had gotten the Tranquility when it was very first out. And I said, it's supposed to be relaxing, just give it a try, because she didn't do well with prescription medications. So she started then, and here's what she's written. And I started taking the Modexus late July for anxiety and shortness of breath and panic attacks. I'm adding as her mom. We actually ended up at med check one time because she thought for sure she was having a heart attack. Since shortness of breath and panic attacks. Since then, they've helped more than any other medication I've ever taken. I take about 4 a day and feel calm most of the day. My anxiety has gone down and my breathing is almost back to normal. It's helped me more than I ever expected them to. I'll take 2 when I wake up, and then throughout the day as needed. I feel more and more like myself, and these really help level out my emotions without making me feel like a zombie that the medications did.
Fantastic.
And Liz will tell you, we ran out. I didn't realize how many she was taking. And the beauty of having Liz right down the road is I'm like, do you have any? We've got to go get some. So I got a bottle from her, and my new bottles arrived the other day. So she's now signed up under me so she can get around.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. And thank her, Lisa, for writing that, because that's is going to be so helpful. In fact, April just said that maybe what we could do is get a copy of that too, because what we're going to start doing is putting it in our team spirit group, our testimonials. Okay. Because then as we have other customers that maybe know somebody that has that kind of issue, that then we have, as I say, here, this is my friend and that had somebody that had the same problem, and here's their testimonial. So
she was going to be on. She actually was not opposed to being on the call tonight, and then she had something that she had to do. So
right. Well, you guys, this has been wonderful. I hope that everybody enjoyed Mel's information, and
very much. Thank you.
This was really, really enlightening, and I'm going to definitely really step up to being even more proactive. I'm really inspired. Yes.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you so much.
Get in touch with Mel if somebody wants to get in touch with Mel.
Well, I can give, if you guys want, what I'll do is, Mel, is there a particular way if somebody wanted to reach out to you? Is it, what would you prefer? Oh.
Yeah, look, I have a Facebook page, which is Empower Health and Lifestyle. If people want to jump over, then they can certainly get in contact with me on there, or Instagram. It's Mel Milford _empower.
Okay, great. And and we've got this recorded so I can get that information out too. So, but you've been a delight. I'm so thrilled that you were here, and hope everybody.
It's a real honor to come and talk to you all. I appreciate you having me on.
Wonderful.
Wonderful to be able to come and share. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
Thank you so much. And it's fun to meet the kids.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay.
Good night,
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
good night, everyone.
Have a good
Time,
night.
everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.